Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen vs. the World. I'm Septum Sen, and today we're going to be talking about a creation of Robert Crumb named Fritz the Cat. Fritz the Cat was one of many of Crumb's comic book creations in the underground world. His comic book work was very interesting. If you ever want to be introduced to a lot of Crumb's opinions and interests, you should look into the documentary Crumb, which is available on Criterion. By the way, they're on sale right now. And in general, you can look up his work. He does have like collections of his various work. It is not for the the overly sensitive. So a lot of the people in the current generation probably would not care much for his work. Well, he did license out Fritz the Cat to Samuel Z. Arkoff, which created two films. Fritz the Cat, which was an X-rated film, and The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, which was an R-rated film. That's the sequel. Now, both of these are out of print, but for some reason this one is the harder of the two to get a hold of. Don't understand why. But when I saw it, I finally found a copy that was like $15. It's like, oh my god, I gotta actually get this. And because I've had the original in my collection for a long time, and now finally I have Fritz the Cat complete. Now, this particular one follows Fritz, who's sort of this kind of casual stoner guy, and who's for the most part out for himself. And out for what, he can get, whether get high, get laid, whatnot. And this particular film follows him as he's being nagged out by his wife and for being a lazy bum. And then he starts considering all of the other 8 lives he has lived. This is the last of his lives. And trying to think of, okay, I've lived all these different lives, and now here I am. Now, this movie makes a lot of political statements. A lot of political statements. Actually, one of the things the director decided to do is they went political instead of actually the sexual route like they did the first one, because they wanted to avoid the X rating and they wanted to make a statement. So a lot of the politics of the time are reflected in this. And because of that, you actually get to see a lot of intricacies. I looked at this film with interest, and I stood back, I was like, back here, and I watched it, and I said, okay, looking at this from a standpoint of back then, so I think that actually I enjoyed a good portion of this particular film because of that. It's very topical. I consider it probably one of the better animated gems out there. Those animations of this time, and there were a lot of those type during this time that would never fly these days. Very, very topical, very, very ahead of their time in many senses. And would never fly. So, I actually thought the voice acting was fine. I mean, the animation style is very much a product of its time. It's neither good nor bad. It's not chunky, it's not clunky, it's not this flash animation that we're used to today. It's actually very, very good. Now, on the bad side, it is offensive. I mean, you're going to get offended by this. I mean, there was one part of this towards the end about a race war that had broken out, and the African Americans of the world, which are Crows, they took New Jersey. And the way they present them is kind of degrading and all of this stuff. But I understand where they were going with this, but if you come out there with today's sensibilities and you're looking out there and you're saying, I'm going to get offended, I'm looking at this, this is going to be offensive to me, yes, you are going to be very offended by this film. Especially this part. And because of this, there's a downgrade. I feel like they went a little bit too much into this, that it was too hard-hitting, and that's why it's still got a kind of iffy IMDb rating. So, in the end, you've got some excellent music, you've got some great animation, you've got some good voice acting, and you've got some very relevant topics. And if you look at it from a historical point, it is an excellent film. But, unfortunately, it has not aged that well in the political mindset. So, Fritz the Cat, the sequel, gets a 7 out of 10. Very good, but not good enough to put it into the spotlight. To me, back when it was done in the 70s, I probably would have given it an 8 out of 10. But today, no, it just isn't really as relevant in the times. Have you guys seen the Fritz the Cat stuff? If you have, of course, comment for me. Let me know. I'm curious as to your opinion on it. Like the video, of course, if you liked it. Subscribe, and, of course, share. Share the wealth. And I will see you on the next one.